On today's episode of Styles That Looks Complicated But Quite Easy to Go About, we'll be doing this simple AI modified top. And if you're interested in learning how to go about everything about this top, definitely watch this video to the end. Now, because of the symmetrical design of the top here, we're going to draft this on an open paper, and that way we are drafting each side of the top differently because it requires different pattern. So you're going to label this left and right here, and now the line you see will serve as the border line and also the shoulder line. On that line, starting from the left hand side of the top here, you're going to mark your shoulder measurement divided by 2, and then from that shoulder measurement you're going to go in to how long you want your sleeve to be. Now I recommend from 4 inches to 7 inches depending on the size of your bicep. Just exactly where you want the sleeve to sit on your arm, yeah, depends on how long you're making it, but you're measuring that from your shoulder measurement divided by 2, and then you're going to come down to 1 inch on that point and make sure you have this same shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus the sleeve length on that 1 inch, and then you're going to start from the midpoint of the paper and come into your standard neck width, and then you're going to slope the shoulder to that standard neck width, and it's looking like this. The next thing now is to measure the sleeve opening, which you can decide to measure it from here to where you want it to be. Or better still, I recommend that you measure from the shoulder down to your chest line. Then you add at least half inch to that, yeah? But for me, I added 0.75 to my actual chest line, and that will be my sleeve opening. Now come back to the shoulder and measure the whole thing you have there and add 2 inches to it on this sleeve opening. And then when you connect it, you see how slanty it is against the regular way we do it, which is even taking out something on that sleeve opening. This is what the style requires, yeah? This way it looks dropped on that sleeve opening. You understand? Now the next thing you're going to do is to measure the neck width. You're going to start from your shoulder measurement and come into 1 inch or 1.5, yeah? And once you have it, you measure from that point to the center of the paper, and that is your neck width now. Now mark it like that, and then you're going to come down here to your standard neck depth plus half inch or 1 inch. For me, I did 3.5 as the neck depth here because this is a boat neck and you don't want it too low. Now you're going to just give it this neckline shape, and then the next thing you're going to measure is from the shoulder down to the bust point, then from the shoulder down to the waistline. Yeah, there is no need for under bust for this particular top because the under bust is not contoured. You're going to roll these lines out, and then on the bust point line we are going to measure the bust measurement divided by 4, yeah, and then on the waistline we'll be doing the waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1.5 that intake. Yeah, we'll be adding that allowance for the dart, and then you come back to the bust and add extra half inch ease. You can even do a whole 0.75 for 1 inch, but you will need some ease on this side of the pattern. You connect it to the waist measurement, and then you're going to blend this part in. But to do that easier, you're going to extend this line this way, and then you just basically go ahead and contour it like this. This is what it's looking like. And then looking at this shape, if you want, you can extend it more, or what you do there depends on what you want, but it's going to drop more than what you have on the shoulder. Do you understand that? Now the next thing we are going to do is to mark in the darts, and we'll be using the bust span, that is the nipple to nipple divided by 2. I'll mark that on the waistline and also on the bust point line, then use my straight ruler to connect it straight like this. Then on both sides, since I added 1.5 that allowance here, I'll be doing 0.75 on both sides of this bust span line. Then I'll go ahead and shape it in a dart form. But because we'll be sewing this dart here, I'll be coming down from the bust point to 0.75, and that is where I'll be connecting the dart to, because that is also where we'll be sewing the dart to. You don't have to sew your dart all the way to your bust point line so that it won't disfigure your dart style. And just so you remember, this is our shoulder measurement here, and the other one is the neckline, as you can see it clearly. Now let's talk about the right hand side. For the right hand side, the first now you see me marking here is the neck width, which is the same neck width I use on the other side of the pattern, yeah. And then we are going with the same shape of the neckline, just like this. We'll be modifying the neckline better after getting the shoulder measurement. Now you see me marking the shoulder measurement divided by 2, yeah. Then I'll go down to my actual chest line. On that point again, I'll be marking the shoulder measurement divided by 2. Then I'll go ahead and read it out like this. And just so you know, this is the midpoint which demarcates the left and the right hand side. Now I'm going to mark my standard neck width of 3 inches, then come down here to 1.5 to slope the shoulder and connect it to that standard neck width, and it's looking like this. Now what you see here, the neckline now is not the way it's supposed to be, so we are going to measure the neck width again on this shoulder slope, or better still, you start from the shoulder tip here and come into 1 inch. This way you are sure that it's going to give you the same effect as the other left hand side of the top. Can you see that? So go ahead and modify your pattern. Then you're going to come up here to 2 inches or 2.5, yeah. Then you're going to start from this shoulder tip on that shoulder slope line and go into 3 inches or 3.5 or 4 inches, depending on where you want this part of the sleeve to sit on your arm. Then on that point, you're coming into 1.5. I can even decide to do 1.25 since my shoulder slope is already 1.5 there. But because I want this to be really firm on my bicep, that's why I'm using another 1.5 to contour it, and then you see the shape I gave it, and then you're going to connect it to this part and then use your curve to blend it in like this. After that, you're going to use your free hand and blend it in on this part just so everything looks well put together. The next thing now is to take the bust measurement divided by 4. We are now adding ease. We added ease to the bust measurement here, but you don't have to do that on this other side, yeah? Then on the waist measurement divided by 4 plus the 1.5 that allowance, I'll add that, then connect it to the bust measurement, just like this. The next thing we'll be doing now is to mark the darts, and we are using the bust span. That is the nipple to nipple divided by 2, yeah? And then you're going to just connect it straight like this, and then on each side we are doing 0.75, and again you're coming down 0.75 for 1 inch from your bust point line and connect the dart to that point, because that is also where you'll be sewing it on your fabric. Now I needed to like blend this part in just so it looks better, and I prefer it like this, and that's pretty much how you go about it though. And this particular pattern, you're going to use it for the back pattern too. You don't have to go be drafting another pattern for the back. All you have to do is to just do the that intake for the back half inch instead of this 1.5 we did there. You do 1 inch, and then the other remaining half inch you take it out on the side seam. It's very simple. It's something you can do, yeah. And then on this part, I needed to like add something to it because it wasn't up to 2 inches initially. And here I will be marking this whole thing I have on the shoulder, yeah. That's the shoulder measurement plus the sleeve length. And then I'll come down to this sleeve opening and add 2 inches to it. Can you see that? Now I'll go ahead and connect it. Just do this part to drop just as much as you want it. Do you understand? But it's not supposed to be the same length as what you have on the shoulder. So after doing that, you see me blending that in, and then we go ahead and cut the rest of the pattern out. And this pattern is already looking like what we ordered, yeah. So yeah, like I said earlier, you're going to use this same one to cut for the back. Now the next thing we'll be doing is to complete this other left hand side of the top, yeah. And you're going to get a paper that is straight on both ends. That's like a box shaped paper. And then now you're going to measure what you have from this sleeve length to that shoulder measurement divided by 2, yeah. Whatever it is you have there, you're going to use that to cut out a cone shape on this new pattern. Like I said, you should have a box shape, something that is straight, just so it won't worry you. Now you're going to measure that same value you measured out from the shoulder measurement to the sleeve length. That same measurement, you're going to measure it here, but I added about 1 inch to mine because I want to blend it in both on the that shoulder part and also on the sleeve opening. Just go ahead and cut out a cone shape like you see mine here, and make sure it's just straight on both ends. Now once you're done with that, yeah, you're going to be adding it here. I will be using my water glue and another paper to join them together to look like this, yeah. And now this is what I mentioned earlier about blending this part in. That's why I made the cone longer than what I have on the shoulder. Now measuring what I have here, I have about 6 inches, which is not bad. But if I wanted it to be smaller, I'll just go ahead and take out something from it now. And if I want it to be bigger than 6 inches, I'll just cut another cone that is bigger than this one. But then what I want to say is that the longer your sleeve length is, that is from the shoulder measurement, yeah, the longer it is, the wider your cone is going to be at the end of the day. But because mine is just about 4.5, I want to make this one 5 inches. Like this wideness of this cone, I want to make it 5 inches. And measuring again, I have exactly 5 inches, and that's what I'm comfortable working with. Remember, this is also going to be on the back, yeah. That means this 5 inches is going to be a whole 10 inches on the shoulder, which is not bad and which is not too small. Except you want it bigger than that, go ahead and do it. But like I mentioned, the longer your sleeve length, yeah, from your shoulder measurement, the longer measurement to use for your sleeve, the wider this cone is going to be at the end of the day. But then you're going to blend it in on the neckline, just the same way it will be easier for you to add your allowance later to sew, and the same way it will be easier for you to like join it on the shoulder later. So just take your time and do it well so that it will be easy for you to sew it later. Now, what you see me doing here is closing the dart, which is not necessary, but I want you to see the vision. So I'll take my time and close this dart. And after that, I'm going to measure my waist circumference. Now that the dart is closed, what I have here is just my exact half of my waist circumference, yeah, which is like 13 inches. So measuring, I have about 13 inches. And what you're going to do for the extended peplum is to do this 13 inches plus the how much is going to drop on each side. Yeah, we have from here to this part, which is quarter of my waist, and then the other part quarter of my waist. Once you have that, you're going to determine how long you want it to drop, and I recommend you do about 4 inches above your knee. That will be the length of that drop if you want to, or you make it longer. Now this is just like the regular extended peplum, except that this is AI modified, so that's why you're seeing that peplum effect. But what you see me marking here first is quarter of my waist circumference. Yeah, then from that point I'm going to measure how long I want it to drop, which for this case I'm using about 18 inches as the length. Yeah, this paper is two, so that's why you see me marking quarter of my waist, because like it's going to each side of the top. I don't know if you get that. So once you have your quarter of your waist and then the length of the peplum extension, yeah, the next thing you're going to do is to go ahead and determine how long you want this peplum to be. And for here, I think I'm doing about 10 inches as the length, which is not bad because I'll be showing you the tricks I use for my extended peplum. Even if you're using the straight method without doing all that you're doing here, the trick I'll share here will still help you. So go ahead and mark the length that you want, which I said I'm working with about 10 inches here. Then you're going to get the midpoint of that length here. On this end, you're going to get the midpoint and then you mark it. Then I'm going to also mark quarter of my waist circumference on this top here. This part is the waistline where we'll be joining to the half bodies. Do you understand? Then now I'm going to come down here. This is like the center front. I'm going to come down to 2 inches, leaving me with about 8 inches peplum length. Are you following? So even if you're doing like the straight extended peplum, just follow this method. Do this contouring on the waistline and you'll see how it will look better at the end of the day. So yeah, you're going to just connect it to that midpoint we got earlier on the end of the peplum extension, and then you're going to blend it in on both on the length of the peplum and also on the top side of the peplum. Just watch exactly what you see me doing here and do the same thing, just so it looks well blended and not sharp where it is not necessary. So yeah, this is the shape we have, and remember that this is the top. Yeah, that part is going to the other half part you already cut out or drafted for the blouse. Once you're satisfied with the blending, you just go ahead and cut it out. And you see this 1 inch borderline here. Initially I had wanted to use it to join them together later, but then I remember that we are doing slash and spread. So I'm going to take it out, then bring in a fresh paper, place it underneath, use my glue to just tape it down like this, and then I'm going to also apply glue on this side. But first I'm going to measure 2 inches wideness on the down of the peplum this way. That is, we are spreading with 2 inches here, and then you're going to tape it down and cut off the excess paper, just as you can see me do it here. Once I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to indicate that my waist circumference divided by 4 on this side. I have that also on the other side. Yeah, then in between this line and then the midpoint of the paper, I'm going to add 2 slash lines, and then I'm going to be slashing them, just as you can see me do it here. But before I spread, I'm going to also mark the same thing on this other side, just so everything align and comes out together. And then I'm going to be spreading the same way we spread with 2 inches on the center of the peplum. The same way we're also going to spread with about 2 inches here. Except you want it smaller, you can do about 1.5 or even 1 inch. But we are trying to add that peplum effect we see on the blouse. Yeah, so use your fresh paper. After getting the spread, you're going to cut off the excess paper, and then you're going to do the same thing on this other one. You are not doing that on that our waist circumference divided by 4. Just spread on this line that we marked for slashing, slash them, and then you spread 2 inches on the hem of the peplum, and then you cut off the excess on the top of the both on the hem and also on the top. Yeah, just take your time and do it. And after that, you're going to repeat the same thing on this other side, and then you're going to have something like this at the end of the day. Just look at that. Tell me how you will use this and it will not give you that peplum effect you see on the blouse. Try this method and you come back to say thank you. And because of this shape, yeah, you're likely to cut this on bias. You're not going to cut it on a straight fabric, yeah. When you place it, the two extension will be cut on bias, and that will give you that drape effect. You also see that flounce effect you see on the extension of the peplum. Yeah. So I'm going to join it. After joining, this is what I have, and tell me this is not giving exactly what we ordered. So just go ahead and dismantle your fabric again, and then you're going to like transfer that to your fabric and then add your necessary allowance and happy sewing. And then this part, like I said, you're likely to cut this peplum on bias. It's not going to be cut on a straight fabric. Once you place it on the fabric, this extension part is not going to be on a straight grain of your fabric, so it's likely to be cut on bias, and that's going to give you that drape effect you see on the peplum. But if you want to, you can also decide to go ahead and do slash and spread where you want it to form that drape, but I wouldn't recommend that. But yeah, that's pretty much how you go about the blouse. I hope you found it very helpful. If you do, let me know in the comments, and I'll be seeing you on my next one.